Hey, what's going on? It's Stranger here and welcome to another YouTube music production video where my mission is to help you succeed in making music. And after my dance floor drum and bass video, I've been getting a lot of requests on how I make my dance floor drums. So today I'm going to give you guys 4 tips on how I make my dance floor drums to really pump. Now you can definitely get very advanced with creating dance floor drum and bass drums, from complex layering to synthesizing your own kicks and snares. But for today's video, we're gonna keep it at level 1 of creating dance floor drum and bass drums. And if there's enough popularity, then we'll do part 2 where we talk about layering and synthesizing drums. Now let me know in the comments, what is your favorite sample pack for dance floor drum and bass drums? Now before we get started, I've partnered up today with a company called Masks Up, which makes stylish face masks, and we're giving away 3 of their camouflage face masks. For your chance to win, all you need to do is enter the draw in the description below. And they've also got some other great designs, so if you want to check out their catalog, I'll leave a link in the description below. Now if you want to get more music production content like this, then make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and share button. All that also helps my channel grow. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So the first tip is to keep it down to the basics. All you need is a good kick, snare, and a hi-hat. Sometimes we overcomplicate things by layering too much, and that tends to muddy up the mix. But when we keep it to just the essentials, then we place more emphasis on each hit. So start with good samples. Find a really good kick, snare, and hi-hat. If you start with great samples, then you'll end with a better result. So I have a kick here and I'm using the Matt Zo pack, and that's a popular pack that I've been using lately on Splice. There's a couple great packs there. There's a great Teddy Killers pack with some really good kicks and snares. So here's my kick pattern. And then I have the snare also from the Matt Zo pack. It's just playing on beat 2 and 4. Now I also have a hi-hat from the same pack. And I'll just draw a pattern across with the 8th note. Now a cool trick you can do with the hi-hats is to duck the hi-hat every time the kick and snare plays. Now you can do that with sidechain compression, but another way to do this is to bring down the velocity every time there's a kick and snare. So I know that there's a kick on the first beat and also on the half step of the 3rd beat. And also there's a snare on beat 2 and 4. So I'm selecting these guys and then bringing the velocity down. Now just for some variation, I'm going to bring this one down just a bit further like that. And now this is what we have. So there's this galloping rhythm going da 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 da. So let's hear it all together with the kick and snare. Now that we have the kick and snare pattern, another tip is to fill in the gaps by layering with other percussive loops or breaks. So I have an amen loop here. Now to give emphasis to the main kick and snares, I'm going to change the kick and snare of the amen to the ride cymbal. So that would be slice 1 and then slice 3. We'll move that there. So now we have this. And now I'm going to high pass the amen to take up that bottom end. And now let's hear it all together. You could also layer the kick and snare pattern with percussive loops such as shakers and tambourines. So I have a shaker here. And let's hear it together. It just adds a little more groove to your break. So I encourage you guys to experiment. Try other breaks, other types of percussive loops to layer over your main kick and snare pattern. Now the next tip is simple. Just adjust the levels of each sound. You want each sound to sit nicely on top of each other. So I'm noticing the hi-hat is coming in a bit loud. So you can tuck it down a bit. And also the amen is coming a bit loud, so we can tuck it so it just sits underneath the main kick and snare. Now a trick I like to use to find the right level is bring it down significantly and then slowly bring it up until it's just right. So around there sounds right. And finally, a trick I like to use is to group all your drums into one bus. So I'm going to take the kick, snare, and hi-hat and group it together. And we'll call it drums. And then within that bus, we can add certain effects. And one I've been using, and it's probably an unorthodox way to pump your drums, but I find it gives you really good results, is to add some saturation onto the bus. So I have a saturator here, and I have it pumped around 10-11 dB. So this is without the saturation. And this is with the saturation. Now I'm leaving the amen outside of the drum bus, so I'm only pumping the kick, snare, and hi-hat. However, you could totally include the amen into the bus. It will just give you a different result. So just put it in so you can hear it. So this is without the saturation. And this is with saturation. And then another way to get your drums to pump is to use parallel compression. Now I have this plugin that I showed in my Raga Jungle video. It's called I Heart New York. So this is without the parallel compression. And this is with the parallel compression. It just adds a little bit of crunch to your drums without sacrificing any dynamics. Now, if you don't have a parallel compressor, you can actually get the same results by creating your own parallel compression chain simply by using the return effects. So what I'm going to do is send the drum bus to return A using this knob. And then under return A, I actually have a compressor, which then is high pass, which removes all the low ends. So I'm only keeping the top end and blending that back into the main signal. So I'll play it to you without the parallel compression, and then I'll slowly dial it in. I find just adding a little bit to give it that extra punch works. And just as a recap, I'll just show you before and after. So this is before without all the drum bus and return effects. And here it is with the saturation and parallel compression. And then once you have some nice drums, then you can have some fun and add some bass. So that's pretty much it. I just wanted to keep it nice and quick and give you 4 tips on how I get my dance floor drums to really pump. And I encourage you guys to explore and experiment, try different kicks and snares, as well as different patterns, and also try different types of breaks and percussive loops that you can layer over your main kick and snare. There's a lot of options here to make it your own drums here. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and if you did, make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and share button. And also I want to invite you guys, if you haven't joined already, we have a Discord community where you can meet like-minded producers and share your tracks. So that's pretty much it for today, guys. Thanks for watching, keep practicing, and we'll see you at the next video.